it's been tough on everyone. Like, I haven't seen my parents now since the summer.
I haven't seen my sisters since the beginning of this pandemic.
My wife works in healthcare, so I think we've taken it in stride, and we're kind of going through the same things. Her being in the hospital and me being out in the field. Obviously a little bit different protocols, but we have the same kind of mentality where we want to keep each other safe. So good hygiene, good hand hygiene. Making sure our PPE is worn, and just yeah, I don't know. It's kind of just as part of healthcare. I guess we're adaptable.
I just recently moved into my own place. I had a roommate that I was with for at least a year. So when this whole COVID thing started happening, I know she definitely felt worried knowing that I worked at the hospital and that kind of puts her at risk and that it would affect her from not being able to go do her job. But now that I live alone, it definitely makes it harder.
I'm lucky. I've got a great family, and they are my bubble. So my bubble is me, my husband, and my two kids. And that's pretty much all I see in terms of close contact.
Every decision that we decide to do, do we have to go out? Do we all need to go into Canadian Tire? It's a Saturday. We want to spend some time together and we need to do some running around. Do we all need to go into Canadian Tire? Um, constantly reevaluating, do I need to send my son to school? And it was hard on him. The original shutdown, it was so hard on him. And he knew when at 3 years old exactly what was going on.
I've not seen my brother or his kids or my parents since the beginning of the pandemic. I used to take, I live in Saskatoon, but I grew up in Mississauga, Ontario. And prior to the pandemic, I used to go to Toronto or to Mississauga at least once a month to see my family. I'm very close to my family and friends back in Toronto. Since the beginning of the pandemic, that has completely stopped. Now it's almost 8 months, 7 months or more.
I come from a family of healthcare workers, so no one actually. We've all been fairly healthy. We all kind of see eye to eye on this whole thing, and I've a family out in Calgary working at some COVID hospitals there, and they've remained safe through all this whole thing as well. So yeah, it's good to always bounce information off each other, but we have a pretty good handle on it, I think.
It has been a stressor for my family. My work is something that is pretty big at times, and I try really hard to set boundaries, not always successful. And they can tell if I've had a hard day or a worrying day or I'm stressed about something. And that's been fairly often lately, but they're good at counterbalancing it and giving me a different perspective. And they're a great resource to me. But they're stressed out too. This has been hard on everybody.
So what I try to do is FaceTime my family members, especially my grandfather. My grandmother had recently passed away about a year ago, and I just know, I just didn't want him to feel alone. Luckily, his brother from Edmonton had moved in with him, which makes it, I feel, a little bit easier. But just knowing how much my grandfather's a family man, I know it just kills him that he can't come and see, that none of us can go and see him. That's including his new great granddaughter that he hasn't seen now for almost a year. It's just really tough.
Every decision has to be calculated because of where I work. Can my husband go have a beer with his friend? Was I recently in a COVID room? Did that ventilator pop off? Yeah, I'm wearing PPE, and I come home and I shower and I do all the things. But guess who sleeps next to me at night? And who's probably just as much at risk as I am.
And knowing that one day it will end, but we're keeping each other safe, and it hasn't really put any strain on our personal relationship at all.